Hey lacrosse friends, welcome once again to Lacrosse Link, your link to all things lacrosse. I am your host, Steven Stamp. Very excited to have you here again with us here on Lacrosse Sports Network at 8 p.m. on Thursday nights, which is a little earlier, and I think it's great. Hopefully it works out for everyone, and the episodes are now all archived on LSN. You can also check them out on our YouTube channel. So you can go back and check out any episodes you missed. And please do share the good word about Lacrosse Link with your friends. Let's get everyone watching Lacrosse Link on YouTube or here on Lacrosse Sports Network. This week we have Mitch Jones from the unbeaten Vancouver Warriors. It's been a while since they have started a season this well. Still a long way to go, but great to chat with Mitch Jones, who has been one of the top players in the league for years and certainly has come out on fire early this season. And then, special treat, we have super fan of the Philadelphia Wings, Chopper, aka Jay Davidson. He appears on the show to talk about his longtime fandom. It's pretty fun to talk about the rabid, fanatical approach that he has taken to this game and how he has enjoyed being a huge fan and wearing the gear, wearing the outfit through the many years that he has been a Philadelphia Wings fan. It's in the family too. Had a great chat, not on camera, but I did get to talk with his daughter, who has also been a huge fan. And we've got some pretty cool footage to show you of Chopper through the years. So thanks for being with us here on Lacrosse Link. Enjoy the show.
Beautiful play, Aaron Greyeyes. He is having himself a tournament. He made the save regardless of the crease call, and that shows he is at his acrobatic. In the middle, it just bounces off, but it's picked up and scored.
Joining me on the show from the 2-0 Vancouver Warriors is Mitch Jones. And Mitch, that's got to sound pretty good. It's been a while since you guys have been 2-0.
Yeah, 2-0. It's the first time since I've been here, so definitely a good feeling, and just looking to keep it rolling.
I'm curious how much of it, with it being the first time since you've been there for a lot of the guys, how much of it is, hey, yeah, we're getting to where we were going. We're getting to where we want to be. And how much of it is, hey, it's 2 games, there's 16 to go, we can't get too excited. And how do you balance those two feelings? Because you want to enjoy the positives, but not get carried away, right?
For sure, yeah. I came to Vancouver when they also moved into Vancouver. And I think at that point, it was no secret that, we kind of had some work to do in all phases of the game. And we've just continually since then tried to get better. And obviously with the COVID break, that kind of halts what you get to see or the results you can get. So it's nice to come out here early in the season and get a couple of results. Those are always hard to cut. Wins are hard to come by in the NLL, so we'll take everyone we can get. And yeah, like I said, trying to keep it going. We know it's a long season, and the 2-0 is the start that we wanted, and we'll go from there.
On the offensive end, you've got some new faces coming in. I mean, Marty Dinsdale and Adam Charlambides, the high draft pick, and Kyle Killen. You've really added some pieces, but you've also got some continuity and some familiarity with, Logan Schuss and Keegan Ball and guys that you have had a chance to work with for a while. So how has it been balancing, having the new blood, the infusion of talent and enthusiasm, but also kind of the comfort of the familiarity of the guys that you have worked with? How have those balanced out to get the offense going?
Yeah, I think it's been a good mix of not only guys are familiar with each other, but older guys and younger guys. We've kind of injected some youth up there with Adam and with Killen and even Marty, even though I might be the plus 30 club. But it's a good problem to have. We got 8 guys who not only can play, but expect to play and bring stuff to the table for us. So it's been a bit of a topic of conversation. Obviously, one person is going to have to sit every week, but I think it's good competition for us. And with the new guys, everyone's still trying to get more and more familiar. It might be a little different, the conversations I have with Adam or one of the new guys, as it is to Baller, who I've played with for 4 or 5 years now. But yeah, just trying to get used to each other and make the best of our offense.
How do those conversations go? I'm always curious, when you guys find out who's sitting and how that's communicated, because I think it's a little different maybe with different teams.
Yeah, the communication, that's just a coaching thing, right? It's a little different with every coach you go to. As far as with our coaches and our strategy, we're constantly talking. We got our once weekly practice, obviously, a time we get to go out there try some new stuff live, but we got group messages and team messages and video sessions and stuff like that. So we're always trying to tweak what we're doing, stay unpredictable, and kind of get prepared for the next week.
When you lose a Matt Beers, who's one of the best defenders in the game in free agency on defense, and you've got Ian Hawksby retiring, Chris O'Doherty retiring, you've lost some really core components to that D. And I think it would be reasonable to expect, or most people looking at it would think, hey, it's going to take a while for things to gel with the new guys. Some pieces brought in that I'm sure you're feeling pretty good about, but you'd think it would take a while to gel. But it seems like the defense, which was probably one of the bigger question marks because of all the change, has actually been a super strength for you guys. And Alex Bouquet has been either driving that or a beneficiary, or most likely some of each, having the best 2 weeks in a row of his career statistically. How do you think that's come together so quickly with the amount of change you've had?
Yeah, our defense has been awesome for us, and goaltending as well. I think credit can go to a bunch of different places, but I think Curtis Hodgson's a big part of that. He's come in and communicated really well with the guys. It also helps that he has some new pieces there. We got a lot of younger bodies out there to work with. We got some solid, sturdy veterans like McIntosh and Brett, who are good leaders to have, and I'm sure they help Hodgie kind of communicate and get everyone on the same page. And then Buki, of course, he's come in. He's been lights out for us, and he's a guy that I've known for a long time, and I expect that of him. But it's good to see that he's doing it so far, and has the defense part of them kind of supporting each other.
When you have a guy like Curtis Hodgson, who was a longtime player, very respected player in the league, then moving into coaching, sometimes it can be pretty seamless, but usually there's a bit of an adjustment period, especially because you go from playing with guys to coaching them. How has he and how have the guys managed that transition of the shifting dynamic of the relationship?
Yeah, of course, there's a transition period there. I mean, we joke around with Hodgie a lot. I was bugging him. What are you gonna wear as a coach? What's your go-to gonna be? What style are you gonna be in? I think he's done an excellent job. I think. I've seen it before. I played with John Tavares as a rookie, and then I think it was maybe the next year, 1 year after, he was our offensive coach. And even he had a learning curve there, but he did it pretty fast, as you'd imagine. And I think Hodgie's gone on that. He's going to learn as the year goes along. But he's done a pretty sensational job so far.
Is there anything that kind of jumps out to you that you've been most excited about over the first couple of weeks of the season with things going well? Has there been a moment or two where you think it's clicking? This is what we've been aiming towards getting to?
Yeah, no, it's been a long time. We kind of got eased into it with our exhibition game in Calgary. We've done 3 road games in a row now with in 3 pretty good spots: Calgary, San Diego, and then in the new Fort Worth. So I mean, you don't take those road trips for granted anymore. Going into some of these buildings, playing against some good teams, that's been a lot of fun. And then kind of the next chapter in that is this week, getting to come home in front of our own fans and play at home. I think that'll be another pretty good experience for us. Just taking it 1 week at a time. I know it's a long season, and just excited to be back out there.
What's the feeling like? Like you said, you get to be in front of the home fans. You get to be, close to home, not having to travel. What are you looking forward to in terms of a change? Like you said, lots of 3 weekends in a row hitting the road. What are you looking forward to in terms of home cooking?
Yeah, looking forward to being home all week, not having to hop on a flight on Thursday. Get to prepare a little bit more relaxed and go about your day-to-day life. Excited to be back in Rogers Arena. It's a beautiful arena in there, and we got a good support coming out for us. So get to play in front of family and friends is always fun. With a little bit of buzz we've received preseason with our TSN and ESPN and all that, it's nice to be a game of the week at home, have some eyes on us. So that's kind of we have a nice break after this. I don't think we play again until January 7th. So this was kind of our first 3-game segment of the year we talked about, and obviously goals 3-0. And if we could do that at home, that'd be pretty special.
Yeah, and you always want to win the last game before you have a long break, right? Because that's a lot of time to stew on a loss.
Yeah, NLL is a high and low league compared to the NFL schedule, because they go once a week. You lay it all out there, and then you usually got to think about it for a week, sometimes 3-4 weeks after. So of course, before that break, that puts a little extra emphasis on it, and then this little stretch on a high note.
I'm curious, one strategic query I have. I noticed on the weekend, Toronto put Tom Schreiber back to kill a penalty late in their game in Halifax, partly because I think Shalon Rogers was in the penalty box and he'd normally be out there, but it was also obviously to try and generate the potential for shorthanded goal. It worked out. They got one. They then gave up a power play goal like a minute later. But Buffalo had Dane Smith back playing, killing a penalty. I'm curious, with Dane, of course, you and Dane both had a similar experience where you started out playing some defense transition and then moved forward. Can we expect to see you back killing some penalties and trying to break up the floor?
We'll see. I've been asking, but I'll leave that up to the coaches. I have some experience doing it. My defensive years in Buffalo, I was always on the second short man unit, but I had this reserve spot of Billy D. Smith, so I ended up getting out there quite a bit because often he penalty box. So I felt like I was kind of almost on the first unit. So I got out there a lot. I enjoyed it. Scored some shorthanded goal, get some opportunities from the back end is always nice. Sometimes they come a little easier than taking a beating up there 5-on-5.
Right.
But no, I'll leave that to the coaching staff on their end.
Okay. Well, we can start a petition in your favor to get you out there, but ultimately, obviously, it's up to Chris Gill and his group. Mitch, we really appreciate you coming on the show, and have a great week, and good luck this weekend, and then enjoy the holidays and until you get right back at it.
Awesome. Looking forward to it. Thanks, Stamper. Have a great holidays as well, and we'll get some good lacrosse going this weekend.
Welcome to Lacrosse Link, Jay Davidson, aka Chopper. Great to have you on the show.
Hey, it's nice to be here.
So we should, yeah, it's a pleasure. We should address, because you are the super fan of the Wings, known as Chopper, and we should address, you're not in the makeup and stuff because, I'll let you explain it.
Last week, my face started going a little weird, and I got a case of Bell's palsy. They gave me an eye patch and everything to look dangerous, I guess.
I love the eye patch picture. You look very hip.
Do I look scary?
It was, I think, a little intimidating. Eye patches are intimidating.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Maybe a little less so under the glasses, but what are you going to do, right?
That's right. That's right.
You have been a fan of the Wings since when? I mean, a long time, right?
1987, I went to the very last game of that year. They had the best advertising. It was, we'll sell you the whole seat, but you only need the edge. And I was like, I love that. And, you know, it just looked like fun. And I didn't even know what lacrosse was. I'm from Western Pennsylvania, and we didn't have lacrosse. And so I went to a game, and I've missed 2 games since 1987.
Wow. So how many is that? Do you have a count of how many games that is?
No, and you know what? I was thinking of that this morning. No, I don't. But counting away games and it's got to be 30 years. It's got to be close to 250 to 300 games.
How many away games have you been to?
Oh, well, I made all but one championship up in Toronto. So I went to every championship game we ever had. A few up in Buffalo that were kind of fun, I must admit. And then just various games here. I mean, we used to go down to Baltimore with 7 buses. We would turn a Baltimore game into a Philadelphia home game. I don't know if you can see my shirt. I wore this. This is from back in the day, the Road Warriors, we were called, you know, and there's our Philadelphia Wings fan club right there. And yeah, it was pretty intense. So, God, I've probably been to 20 or 30 away games.
And did you dress up for the away games as well? Did you get on? Because we're going to have some pictures up so people can see the W and the silver paint and the helmet, the hard hat, and the, you know, the whole, and the jersey, the whole Chopper outfit. But did you get into gear and get into character for the roadies?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And, you know, even the away fans really like it, you know, for the most part. You know, you get your special fans, but yeah, you know, everybody, you know, it's pretty, it was pretty widely accepted around the league with everybody.
Yeah. And did you ever have any issues with security or with, you know, were they worried at first? Because, I mean, you get up, you're loud, you're affecting the game experience. And I'm not saying in a bad way. I think, like you said, people really embrace the whole thing, but you definitely affect the game experience for everyone around you.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we've had some run-ins with security, you know, more for our protection because we get a lot of things thrown at us. And, you know, in Boston, Boston was always fun. Buffalo was fine as long as we would be losing, you know, but we'd always have a guard close to us.
And who's we? When you say we, you talk about we getting things thrown.
The fan club and everybody that, you know, would go to the games. You know, because when we went, we'd take at least 100 people, you know, almost every game for a long time, for a long time.
What made you think of Chopper? What was the genesis of the character?
It's a bit of a long story, but my first year, you know, I just got tickets, and then the next year I got season tickets, and the ticket guy for a playoff game gave my 2 seats to Lou Delegati's family. He was one of the players for a playoff game. So I called up, and you know, I was a little hot. You know, they gave my seats away, and I said, "Look, I was going to bring 10 people to the games," and his name was Drew. Drew said, "Okay, man, relax. How about if I give you seats 1 through row 3, seats 1 through 4, row 4, seats 1 through 4, and row 5, seats 1 and 2." I was like, "All right, you know, that's fair. They sound like decent seats." Well, you know, I get the seats. We walk down, and here I am right behind the penalty box, and the visitors' penalty box at that. And being in Philadelphia, I couldn't sit there and do nothing. So I actually, they used to throw out these painters hats, Mab paint, and I used to wear that and a Lou Delegati jersey. And then Dallas Elliott came along, and when somebody would come in the crease, he would swing his stick like an axe.
Yeah.
Anybody who came in that crease, you were taking your life into your hands. And if you go back and look at some of the MILL highlight videos, you'll see exactly where it came from. We literally swing 2 hands over his head at the guy's legs. It was a good old. Yeah, and that's where Chopper came from.
Right, from him chopping. I just read that today, actually.
Yeah.
Favorite interaction with somebody who was in the penalty box?
I'm sorry?
Your favorite interaction with somebody who was in the penalty box? What's 1 or 2 that's jump out in your mind over the years?
Oh boy, there's been a lot. I would have to say my favorites, and these guys got me hated in Philadelphia, which means you are somebody when you're hated in Philadelphia. It took a little while for me to realize that. But the Kilgores from Buffalo. I mean, they would be in there so much. I'd high five them like, "Hi, Richie, how you doing?" You know, and the guys behind me, it's like, "Hey, you're fraternizing with the enemy," and they hated me. They you know, there would be a whole section. Chopper sucks. Chopper sucks.
No.
And we straightened out our differences, but those are some of the better ones. Oh God, the things I've said over the years, everybody thought I was saying worse things than I did. I'd usually pick on their where they went to school, their name. Very rare did I ever go to family. Oh God, what's his first name? I can't remember his first name. Hoare.
Stephen Hoare?
Yeah, Stephen Hoare. And
he and his wife are friends of mine, so tread lightly.
Okay, no, they're the greatest people. I love those guys. Well, his dad one day at a game, I used to call him Hooker. That was my name for him, was Hooker, And his dad at the bar one night, he's like, my wife was never a whore until she married me. So they're great people. And over the years I've met more. I mean, I've been friends with a lot of the wings, but I've gotten to know a lot of the away players a little bit better because I would go look for them at the after party. Right. Because I didn't want them to find me. So I'd go up and talk to these guys, and every one of them is an excellent guy. I mean, especially the Canadian guys, they're just, everybody's awesome. It's a great sport. It's a great culture. It is like a family. It really is.
Smart to be preemptive and go after them. We're out of time, but Jay Chopper Davidson, really appreciate you coming on, and we'll have to touch base as the season goes on. I know you're not going to as many games this year for a variety of reasons, but it was great to have you on, and I know the league appreciates the fandom that you have brought over the many years.
Thank you, Stephen. I appreciate it. And I appreciate everybody that appreciates me. I've been saying that a lot this week.
Hi, this is Jaden with Al Anderson Source for Sports. Excited to tell you that we got all our new lacrosse product in for this upcoming season. Whether you're playing box or field, our lacrosse experts are going to make sure we get you into the right equipment to elevate your game. At Al Anderson Source for Sports, we know our stuff.
All right, thanks for being with us, lacrosse friends. Hope you enjoyed the interviews with Chopper and with Mitch Jones. Of course, Chopper, aka Jay Davidson, in case you didn't catch that one. We have some topics now from around the world of lacrosse, obviously pretty heavily focused on the National Lacrosse League, which is underway or a couple weeks in. Lots going on. One unfortunate incident was, of course, Jeff Teat being placed in COVID protocols, and New York Riptide had 2 games on the weekend in week 2, so a huge loss for them to have him out, and hopefully he'll be fine. It'll be, the leagues are having to deal with this. All the professional leagues, all the junior leagues and things, so many leagues having to deal with COVID issues. A shame for Teat and for New York and for my fantasy team, because Teat ripped it up for me in week 1, and it really hurt my fantasy team to not have him for week 2 for the 2 games, which would have been huge. But obviously, on a more serious note, a more important note, it's going to be interesting to see how it impacts the NLL through the season, how they're going to deal with it. Hopefully, there won't be huge impacts, but we'll see how things play out. It's kind of unavoidable at this point, but so far, not too many issues. Lyle Thompson, in Georgia's game against the New York Riptide on Sunday afternoon, went off 5 goals, 5 assists, looking absolutely fantastic. Vintage Lyle Thompson, absolutely peak Lyle Thompson, very much looking like he did in his MVP season when he was virtually unstoppable. So really interesting there to see how he does going forward. Can he carry that forward? He is so good, so smooth, so slick, so gritty. What a great player. An interesting strategic note on the weekend, and I brought it up with Mitch Jones in his interview. The Toronto Rock, late in their game in Halifax, are down by a few goals, and Captain Challen Rogers takes a slashing penalty. He is normally at the top of their penalty kill, and he's a big threat in transition, obviously, but also a great defensive player. They put Tom Schreiber out on the floor. I don't know if that was Matt Sawyer's idea or Bruce Codd's idea. You have to assume they've been working on it, but they send Schreiber out did a pretty good job, and obviously looking for the explosiveness, tried to get a shorthanded goal, worked like a charm. Nick Rose picks up the ball and kind of double clutches and throws the outlet pass to Schreiber, who was actually pretty well covered, but he is so talented and so athletic that he gets down the floor, he gets himself in a position, makes the catch, slams on the brakes, cuts around and opens himself up, goes and scores a shorthanded goal. And you can just imagine the wheels turning in the heads of other coaches in the league saying, hey, how good an idea is it to do this? Should we implement this? The next night, Buffalo had Dane Smith out doing the same thing. Now, Smith did play defense for a couple of years when he came into the league, so it's not as much of a stretch, and he's played transition for Team Canada and things, so interesting though to see if other teams will implement that strategy when the risk is worth the reward, to see if you put that forward out on the PK. Obviously, you're not going to have as strong a penalty kill, but the chances for shorthanded goals has to be enticing. More trouble in paradise in lacrosse, which just seems to happen again and again and again. The Ontario Junior Lacrosse League Commissioner Mark Grimes announces a suspension, indefinite suspension of the Toronto Beaches from the OJLL. OJLL, or the Beaches, are fighting back. It was announced that it was because of public statements they made and their intent to defect to another league. Didn't explicitly say the Tualatin Lacrosse League, but that obviously was the league they're talking about, because owner Jason Shuttleworth, who's one of the owners for the Beaches, also got, as an owner, an expansion franchise in the Tualatin Lacrosse League, the TLL. So the OJLL, Mark Grimes, commissioner, saying the Beaches are going to defect. It's interesting because Jason Shuttleworth was on the Laxbeat podcast a few weeks ago. You can go look that one up wherever you get your podcasts. Just look up Laxbeat. And he was on the podcast and made it very clear that the Beaches are distinct from TLC, what they're calling the Tualatin League team, and the Beaches very much are focused on competing for a Minto Cup. You can go read more about it. I've got a story on Inside Lacrosse on Isle Indoor. Go and check out that story for a bit more and listen to the podcast and make your own conclusions, draw your own conclusions. I know there are some teams in the OJLL who have pretty legitimate concerns about the impact of having an OJLL owner owning a TLL team when they see them as competing entities. Shuttleworth has said, no, we're using 22 and 23-year-olds who are not eligible to play in the OJLL. And we're going to bring up American players as well for the TLL. Beaches completely separate. So for his model, it seems very distinct. I think other governors and managers and coaches on other teams in the OJLL have some concerns about how having TLL teams involved or even tangentially connected to the league or even happening could impact their rosters, their ability to field the best teams that they can. So lots of communication, lots of conversation needs to be happening. Unfortunately, it doesn't seem to happen a whole lot. I know the Beaches have appealed. We'll see how it plays out. Lawyers obviously are going to get involved here, I would think. And unfortunately, it seems like the kids that play are the ones who seem to pay the price. And hopefully, it'll work out for everyone. I just hope there can be communication and things can work out because, storied franchise with the Beaches, and you'd hate to see things tarnished and things go south. On a related but distinct note, just found out the TLC, the Toronto Lacrosse Club in the TLL, is having a Name the Team contest, and you can go check out their Twitter, go to their website, and the prize is a trip for two fans to Halifax to check out a Halifax Thunderbirds game. That's a pretty good prize. I've been hearing great things about the games and the support in Halifax. It'd be pretty fun to get down to a game. So if you want to do that, put your name into the contest, put the name of the team that you would like to see into the contest, and you might just get a trip to Halifax for some lacrosse. And finally, on a tasty note, well, wouldn't be for me because it's not my favorite, but if you are a fan of dill pickle chips like Ryan Dilks of the Saskatchewan Rush, you are in for a treat because now the Saskatchewan Co-ops have created Dilks Pickle Chips, named for Ryan Dilks and his fandom of dill pickle chips, and they are available at Saskatchewan Co-ops. Apparently they're delicious if you're a dill pickle chip fan, so I encourage you, if you have an opportunity, to check them out. And Ryan Dilks, one of the best players in the game, one of the best guys in the game, so pretty cool to see him getting his own brand of chips. Thank you so much, Lacrosse friends, for being with us. Remember to subscribe if you're watching on YouTube. And we're so thrilled to be on Lac Sportsnet and appearing at the earlier time now of 8 p.m. on Thursday nights on Lacrosse Sports Network. And the great news, all of the shows are now archived. They have their own tray. You go to the Lacrosse Sports Network website and you can check out all the past episodes of Lacrosse Link, your link to all things lacrosse.